Hey, it's Louis Porter Jr. I don't know if you're seeing this like you're supposed to, but I might have to put it on the side like this because I'm driving in my car, got a banana in my hand, and I'm dressed for work. You see I got my tie on and everything, so I'm very sophisticated today. I don't even know if you guys can hear me. I gotta talk louder. I got the windows down because of course you know I have no AC in my car, so it's a whole big fiasco. So if you're looking to the side like this, just get used to it. This is how we're gonna shoot today. It just happens sometimes. All right. So, with a title called Better Late Than Never, kind of makes sense for today, because today, as you can see, I was running late at a business affair. I had to wear a suit, a little tie, no suit, but my tie, looking formal and impressing people. That's what I had to do. Something else I've noticed. Thank you. I'm really hungry, sorry. Something else I've noticed in the world of gaming, brown spot in my banana. People seem to be on a kick of late. And what that kick is starting stuff but never finishing it. Now, don't get me wrong, I got a ton of projects that I freaking have never finished. I can tell you one of my biggest ones, and this is like a hidden one that most people don't know about. Well, I'll tell you about, see, now I thought of another one I didn't think about. Okay, let's start with one of my favorite ones. All right. This will be better. Da-da-da. Oh, not that way. All right, that's better. One of my favorite ones that was supposed to be done by now, but it has not been done, and it's kind of silly that it's not been done yet. That one is Pirates of the Bronze Sky. Basically, Pirates of the Bronze Sky was my homage to, I guess I'd say, Spelljammers and kind of pulpish role-playing. And it had skyships, and it had, cannons, and it had, and really the original concept of it was based off the American Revolutionary War. I thought there's a lot of cool history there, a lot of cool battles that would work really well in this. So Pirates was something I worked on for a while, and putting it together, getting it set up, even acquiring some good pieces of art for it. But from really weird circumstances, I just never got it finished. And my connection's weak. What else is new? And for some reason that I can't figure out, we just never, ever got it really off the ground. And it should have. It was an easy piece to get off the ground. It just never got off the ground like I wanted it to. And I had people have written stuff for it, and it's very much a weird feeling. We put together a couple books for it. We did a gunpowder book. We also did 2 new races for it. One was basically gargoyles. We based, just like the TV show Gargoyles, which is one of my favorites, another piece that I've stolen ideas from. We had Gargoyle on the setting as like an actual new race. We gave him a different name. And then we did a race called the Calathon. And I know a lot of you've probably seen a picture of it. The Calathon was basically a 4-armed Scottish rhino. So, think of a big rhino man, that's really more appropriately. So think of it like a rhino man on 2 feet with 4 arms and wearing a kilt. It's probably one of the more infamous pictures that we've done. Turning. One of the more infamous pictures we've done. Oh, hold on. So what made it cool was, well, first of all, 4-armed rhino man with a big cannon, swords, and a kilt is awesome. That's just an awesome picture. It doesn't get much cooler than that. And that's one of my favorite pictures. We just did this, and we thought for sure we were going to put this in this book. And I mean, because in my head, the Calathon, as my idea, were mercenaries. They were basically our version of the GIF, which I thought our GIF were a cool concept. And hippopotamus, if you don't know anything about hippopotamus, they're actually quite dangerous and quite vicious. You have a better chance being killed and mauled by a hippopotamus than you do by an alligator. So, and that's kind of scary when you think about it. I mean, alligator, definitely, top of the food chain terror. So, and you think hippopotamus, oh, they're cute and lovely. Those guys are horrible. They're horrible. They're just like wild animals. They're just horrible. So I said, geez, I want a big animal like that, but what would be cooler? So I skirted around for a bit, and I said, oh, I gotta do a rhinoceros. Rhinoceros would be awesome. And then I said, you know what's better than just one-armed rhinoceros? Four-armed rhinoceros. And that's when it just got to be crazy. And then I said, geez, I want to turn into mercenaries. But of course, we're doing the Revolutionary War. I'm like, well, what would be kind of cool mercenaries? I'm like, the Scots. The Scots are awesome. They have kilts, and they look crazy, and that would be a great little mashup. And, that's how we got the Caliphon. And it worked very well. We actually did a lot of people have downloaded the free version. If you go to RPG Now or RPG Drive-Thru and look up Caliphon, that's Kayleethon, you can find the free history done on them. We give you all free. It's all the fluffy stuff, just all pure fluff. The actual crunch and the stats we never ever release. And I kept saying, I'm going to release it one day. And even still, I'm like, I'm going to release it one day. It's one day. I don't know, one day. So, I'm hoping to release it one day. But that's where it is. It's like, it's something that's in my head. It's been done. Just getting it out is a problem. But you have to prioritize yourself on what might come up. The second big thing that I did was for Neo Exodus. We did a couple, not Neo Exodus, good lord. Haven City of Violence for D20. We put out Haven. It sold very well. It had a good setup. But Haven was done as an East Coast crime city, and I loved doing it. And it was very dear to my heart. The problem was I also want to do a West Coast version, and this ties into something else. So I'll tell you about this too. So back in the day when D20 Modern was doing really well. So if you're wondering what happened, is that someone from my job decided to call me with some questions, of course, about something that, of course, was done last minute and shoved on me, and then, oh my God, and you're just like, thanks a lot. So, maybe if I'm lucky, just maybe, we can actually finish this whole little video cast and get kind of at the right time. So I did something semi-smart. See, I was on my way driving while talking about all the fun stuff to my local game store. And that's where I'm getting out right now. Because apparently it would make sense to actually have all the stuff you need when you need it. By working hard at the insurance company, that's good. So I'm going to the Venture Game Store right now. You'll see a good friend of mine, Brian, who's the manager. We're going to talk, of course, some stuff. He'll probably be working on something to make it even funnier. So we continue our discussion. So Brian's going to be like, what the hell happened? This will be fun. Yeah, I'm shooting my video right now. I was doing it in the car.
Oh my gosh.
And it cut out. So this is Brian. Let me see. That's Brian. Wait, Brian. See, Presso.
Hi, everyone.
And what's the name of your store, Brian?
The Adventure Game Store in Dragon's Lair.
And where are you located?
We're in Davie, Florida.
Okay, so now we're talking about all kinds of fun stuff about, better late than never, like apparently this freaking podcast is today.
I was hoping to tune in and watch this podcast as it happened, and it looks like I'm doing it one better.
There you are. You're live. You're live okay. Right there. So I was talking about basically when you get an idea for a game and you want it to come out and it never comes out, and so better late than never. So let me get your opinion on this kind of fun stuff, because you know about this.
Okay. Well, I watched your podcast yesterday, and I agree with you. Just make stuff, right? Work on stuff, put it out, and put it out on a regular basis, because that means that the people that are buying your game know that they have attached themselves to something that's an ongoing thing that they'll be able to add on to as it goes forward. And not just, a one-off sort of abandoned, orphaned product line.
What? There's orphaned products? What do you mean?
Well, it's a common thing that we see, especially in the indie sphere, where people will get a really neat idea to do something, and they'll go ahead and do it, and then they will get a completely different neat idea to do something else at some point later on, and they'll do that. But game distributors and game stores have an interest in lines of product that they know that they can bring in and that are going to be supported and that they'll be able to get customers to attach themselves to and purchase stuff from over a longer period of time.
So, but about what stuff that's late? I mean, there's always products that are late.
Oh yeah, most products are late.
Is that just? Do you think that's just because that's how the system is built, or people are just unrealistic on the time it takes to actually do stuff? Or
so it's a combination of things, right? I think probably more the latter than the former. I think in a lot of cases, people that want to make games don't have a lot of experience making games, but delays can happen even to the most experienced of people because they're, like you said in your talk yesterday. You're not necessarily going to be doing everything yourself.
Right.
So a lot of times that means relying on other people to get stuff done, and of course real life can intrude and intervene and stuff, and muck up the best laid plans. So planning out what you're going to do is every bit as important as the actual doing of it, so that you can keep up with timetables and markers. In the game business, it's driven in large part by the big summer conventions. So having something like Gen Con sitting out there, they're not going to move that date. Gen Con is on the dates that they've announced that it's going to be, and if you're going to be selling your product there, your product better exist. So that can be a real motivator to get people to get stuff in on time, or at least in time for that, even if it winds up being late for other stuff.
okay, put this back and then let me ask you some more fun questions. Let's see if this works. All right. Since I've been all about this whole living campaign and all this stuff and asking you all these weird questions, and I've gotten some feedback online and people have given me some other points of view, as a retailer, what do you think about like organized play and that kind of stuff for stores?
Well, our organized play is important. It helps us deliver content to players that they would otherwise only be able to find a convention or a special event. You don't see a whole lot of organized play taking place in people's houses. Not that it doesn't exist, it does. But game stores, in part, I think, exist as a kind of a nexus for gamers to kind of get together, whether that's to play or to meet up. And the organized play gives us something to kind of drive the experience in the shop. And it also lets us cooperate with the publisher so that we are driving the player's experience towards something that the publisher is pushing the direction for. So a lot of times you'll see with the Paizo organized play, it is either following or heading toward a product line that they're pushing at the time. And you might see that the storyline of the campaign that they're playing in is going to culminate in a nice, shiny new hardcover book that comes out in August. And you would have a lot of customers primed to do that. The best example that I remember of that was back in 4th edition, when they were pushing organized play for D&D 4th edition, with some successes and maybe some things that weren't quite so successful. But the Dark Sun campaign that they did for that capped off with the release of the Dark Sun book, and it was by far the best-selling book that we had because the people that were in the shop were all playing the Dark Sun campaign and they wanted to buy the book for the thing they were playing.
So you think, well, let's talk about my favorite third party, since you always like that. There is no third-party support for open play or organized play materials. If Paizo opened up third-party publishing products for open play, maybe in a small amount, do you think that would affect their sales positively or negatively?
Well, obviously positively. Yeah, there's no question that if they were to do that, it would affect their sales positively. The sales of the third-party product positively.
But do you think it would even affect even Paizo sales directly?
That I don't know. That's a harder question to answer. Would it mean that they would sell more Pathfinder core rulebooks or other hardcovers that cover people's classes because a store somewhere that was not doing organized play got involved in doing organized play because a third-party publisher encouraged them to do that? Then yes. But overall, is somebody more likely to buy a core rulebook that didn't own one because there was a third-party organized play campaign taking place in the shop? Probably not, because the penetration on Pathfinder Society, the market penetration, is pretty thorough. So most stores that are doing organized play for role-playing games are doing Pathfinder Society or Adventurers League. And the people that are doing that probably already have the core rulebooks for those games.
Do you think that it's basically going to become mandatory at some point that organized play is tied into whatever product you're making?
I think the trend is definitely in that direction. We've seen that, especially this past year in board games, where board games are kind of latched onto the organized play models that have been used primarily heretofore with role-playing games and miniatures games. We're now seeing a whole bunch of different board game publishers offering organized play kits for their board games. And I think that that's going to wind up having kind of a feedback loop effect going back into role-playing games, because the latest batch of new people that are interested in playing role-playing games are coming from the board game sphere. People that come into the shop on this side of the store and looking at board games and have been casting a curious eye over here to the role-playing section, wondering, what all these big books over here are all about. And in fact, tomorrow we are doing an event just for people like that are curious about role-playing games, where we're going to kind of open up role-playing and demystify it and try to pull some of the intimidating or arcane aspects away from just the nuts and bolts of what role-playing is, and expose people to the fun of role-playing games. And I think that's a trend that we're seeing industry-wide. And I think that people are going to take their experiences in organized play, and you're going to see it be like a universal thing. It'll be used for everything. And game stores will be inexorably tied to organized play across every category.
So if let's suppose you're a new company, you want to approach a retailer with an organized play. What would have to be mandatory that they bring to you that you'd be like, yes, I'll support this, yes, I'll put this in my store, to know that you're going to get some future sales?
That's really tough, because every retail store is different. Every single one of them is going to have a different answer to that question. For me, what I would like is plenty of advance notice so that I know that I can clear the dates and I know that I've got the space available. And I would like to have the ability to put people that I know and have trust in charge of overseeing and administering the event, rather than have a roving person kind of drop in and do it. And I think that a lot of other stores would share those concerns, but every store is going to have a different answer to that question.
And let's keep going with getting people. I've been talking to a lot of people, and they've said that getting a good GM is the core of making it successful, but also going to be a problem for the company and for the retailer, because you don't know who you're going to bring in. Like you said, it was a random person coming to your store. You don't know if that guy's going to support you in the way you'd like or be as polite as you like to your people. If a company came to you and said, hey, look, we want to basically kind of hire your guy to do it for us, what would you expect that to look like? What would you want that to look like?
Well, there would have to be some kind of package that we can deliver to, ideally the staff person or regular volunteer that I trust, so that I can kind of go over everything with the staffer and we know we're on the same page about what's going on and what we're trying to push. Because obviously what we're pushing with that is not just the publisher's product, which is what we want, but we're also pushing the shop as an entertaining, safe, and fun place to come down to and enjoy yourself with, and have an experience with a group of people that you're going to have a good time with. So,
let's talk about the negative stuff. Okay, publisher wants to work with you. What's the 3 things they can do that are absolutely wrong and would basically kill your relationship between you and a publisher?
All right, so the things that a lot of stores, I think, would cite as big problems that have occurred in the past for us, people showing up completely unannounced and saying, I'm here representing such and such publisher and I'm ready to run a demo for you right now, and I've got every one of my tables is scheduled to be full within the next hour, and I don't have a place to put them. I don't know who they are. There can be nightmare situations where the person that is coming in to run the demo is rude or commits some kind of offending behavior that would alienate some of my customers and make them feel like this is not a cool place to be. Well, from a business standpoint, you could have a person that come in and says, oh, yes, I'm down here traveling through the Southeast, and I've hit 4 stores, and the store that I was just in, a couple of hours ago doing this in was really cool, and they had a lot of really great stuff, and the shop is kind of, if you guys are looking for this book that I'm talking about here, the place I was just at has got plenty of them, and you should go over there and pick that kind of stuff. And that's just not cool. We try to keep a really good inventory on the RPGs that we have, and we definitely try to provide the people that are coming here with a great experience here in the shop. I would stack up my store with many different local competitors and believe that I'm providing, a quality experience by comparison to some of the other shops in the area, especially for role-playing games. But I know in certain other places the competition can be much, much more fierce over customers, and that kind of stuff will get you tossed out of a lot of stores that way. For me, it would just get a firm, hey man, let's not talk about that.
What you don't?
Can we talk about my shop? That's what we're here for. So ideally, what you want is control over who's delivering your message, and so there's some kind of approval with that. So the problems can come up. Usually, are stemming from I don't know who this person is. The time wasn't blocked out, and they're saying things that I don't think is really cool, and they're acting in a way that is not the way we like people to act in my shop.
All right, let's ask a crazy question. PDFs.
Okay.
Should there be a way for stores to get PDFs inside to sell, kind of like what GameStop does with their gift cards and things like that? I assume that most retailers would like to get a piece of that pie, even though it's a smaller pie, but find some way to sell digitally to their customer base.
So that pie is largely invisible to us, right? So
right.
I have no idea how big the pie is or what's in it. So it's hard for me to answer that question. We are partners in Bits and Mortar, which is a way where you can get PDF product for free when you purchase a hard copy of that product. And that's a valuable service for us. And I know that we and some other stores that I know that make use of it even better than we do, they use it as a pre-order mechanism. They give people out a PDF for a book that's coming out fairly soon if they know that they're going to commit to having it purchased from them. As far as getting access to money from PDFs that are not going to be given away for free, that are typically only sold, I don't know how much money that is. I'd certainly be curious to find out about it. I've done some small digital publishing for like RPG supplements for myself, and my personal experience with that was that there was not a whole lot of money in that, but the type of product that I did is much more useful as a hard copy than it is as a digital copy at all, so I really don't know. Yeah, I'd be curious about it. I'd like to know more, and if in fact there is a decent amount of money in that sort of thing, sure. I'd be interested in finding a way where we could participate in that in some way.
And what kind of delivery system would you think would be necessary? Because in my head, I've always believed that it'd have to be something at the point of sale system that we bring up the card, scan the card, you unlock the card for by doing the transaction. The PDF gets sent to them. You take the money. Ta-da! It's over. That's.
I guess there'd be a different variety of ways that it could be taken care of. We just have to find a way that would be verifiable, and that the publisher and the retail store knew that they'd be able to trust the system, so that I'd know that if I was collecting the money and you would know that it actually got downloaded, that I owed you the money that I collected, or vice versa, however it worked out that way.
Would you want this even to be like for something you could sell just specifically online? Like you have a web store online, yes, we have also PDFs you can get, that kind of thing. Would that be something, or is that still not worth it to you as a store? Because it's
so as a primarily brick and mortar retailer, I don't really sell a whole lot of stuff online, and occasionally we'll put something up on eBay when we buy like a collection of used games and that sort of thing. So my experience in the online sales realm is small, but I would imagine that PDF sales would be kind of a valuable thing to have as part of your online store, because the person that's buying from you is already getting it on their computer and isn't necessarily local to you in that way. So they're probably maybe more viable for digital sales.
So if somebody said, okay, you can only buy this exclusively at your store and maybe a couple other stores in the U.S., maybe like worldwide, that adds an automatic value to the product and to you.
Well, sure. No, any way that you can highlight a retailer and give them something that is especially just for them is going to be something retailers will be interested in, and it's going to be a bonus for us. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hi Brian.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
This is a live show that we just do live.
Yeah, it's going out on Facebook right now.
I'm just going to.
That's cool. Good to see you. What are you looking for?
I'm actually going to. Do you still have the? Yes. The black.
Yes.
Black shiny dragon.
Okay, sure.
All right, I'll go back. Thanks, Brian. Of course, I have some other crazy stuff to ask you. So where was I on the speech? Let me run outside. since I was doing, we were talking about the Calathon? Yeah. So yeah, we were talking about the Calathon, and no, we're talking about Haven. That's right, talking about Haven. So, excuse me. So Haven, I planned to do a spin-off on the West Coast city, and it was an idea because I did East Coast, and I said, well, let me do a West Coast city. So the West Coast city we came up with, we kind of want to do like LA. It was LA. Well, LA and San Francisco combined. And we did basically this setup for this city called Sanctuary. And Sanctuary was, the West Coast version of Haven. And while we were planning to do this, you got to remember the time period. We were doing with this with D20 Modern. Spycraft from AEG had just started getting really, really kind of popular and started moving pretty well. And I was like, oh wow! I mean, I like the system. I thought it could work really well, and I thought it was a good deal. And I kept approaching them about doing stuff, and they said, oh, we might do some stuff open, we might do some powered by stuff. Powered by Spycraft is what they were calling it. And I was like, great, whatever you do, just let me know. I'd be very, very interested to find out about it. I'd like to find more about it. And it just never came to fruition the way I wanted it to. And it just never came across the way we wanted it to. We wanted to come across in a certain way, but it just did. So eventually one day it will come out. We've done tons of work on it, but it's just getting it out is tough. It's tough. So I understand when people say they can't get stuff, and it's tough to get it out when you need it, and it's just it's just tough. It's just tough. All right. So I said this has been a weird episode, me split in the middle, and Brian being nice enough to jump on for a little bit. I thank everybody for it. I'm going to probably either put both of these together on YouTube or find some way to put this together. So check us out. I'm sure we're gonna have something interesting on Friday. I'm hoping that it'll be less crazy. I'll be honest with you. I'm even tempted to maybe drop Fridays, because Fridays always seem to be a crazy video. But maybe that'll be our big thing. Start doing crazy videos on Friday. I don't know. We'll see about it. All right. Talk to y'all later.